Probably wasn't even in frame. I want you guys to know that every one of my steel targets fell down. There's one there, there, and then there's one out there too. Every one of them fell down. Welcome, gentlemen. Today, I've got something very special for you, and that is this tactical abomination. My Henry Model X 4570 lever gun. Let's get right into it. Starting off, as we always do, with a breakdown of the build. Please excuse the excessive sniffling here, fellas. It is 25 degrees out right now, so not a lot of snow or anything crazy for January in Montana, but it is cold. On the end, you know it, I love it. The Silencer Co. Hybrid 46M. Silencer Co. Hybrid 46M in the long configuration. The Silencer Co. Hybrid 46M in the long configuration. Starting at the end, we have it, you know it, you love it. The Silencer Co. Hybrid 46M in the long configuration. Check out my video on this bad boy, especially now that tax stamps are free. Pretty sweet. On the suppressor, we have the Silencer Co. lower temp wrap. Every video that I have this in, I say, I don't really like this suppressor cover. Maybe I'll get into it, maybe I won't. Well, guess what? Today's your lucky day. I'm getting into it. This wrap right here has metal buckles. And if you shoot this a lot on a gun, these metal buckles will get just as hot as your can will. And if you happen to grab it or touch it because you think you're safe, because you have a suppressor wrap on it, you will burn the shit out of you, which I am obviously speaking from experience. Then we've got some, then it's got this little like sleeve on here that you have to put on and take off every time you want to put on and take off the suppressor cover. It tends to leave like little fibers all over my can, and I'm not a huge fan of that either. And as far as heat mitigation goes, it just doesn't work that well. So there's my mini review on the lower temp Psycho suppressor wrap. I did recently get the extreme temp corset style one, which so far I like more, but I haven't really done any testing, so to speak, with it. Moving on down, we have the Surefire Scout flashlight with the pressure pad. The pressure pad is just Ranger banded onto here. I have a couple sections of Picatinny rail, M-LOK sections, and then I have the Magpul sling mount, which is getting a little loose, even though I cranked it. Magpul MS1 sling, the tactical gray color that goes with my suppressor wrap. I think that looks pretty sweet. Then we've got the Magpul M-LOK XTM hand stop. Originally, I had a vertical grip on this, so it just made it look even more retarded than it does right now. But I think this kind of keeps the lines a little bit cleaner on this and just lets it, I don't know, feels good. I put the Henry rail on there. This one was actually silver, so I spray painted it black. And then on top of that, you know it, I love it, duality of man moment, the SIG Romeo 5 Gen 2. As far as furniture on here, this furniture did not come standard on the gun. It came with a synthetic stock and a synthetic forend. The forend did have M-LOK sections on either side and a pick rail on the bottom, just a little section, and then a like standard sling swivel. I guess it would be down here. But I bought this gun with the intention of bastardizing it, so I didn't really care what the furniture was on it. Besides it being, it wasn't a classic looking lever gun, so I didn't ruin one that was good. I took one that was made to be tactical and made it more tactical. The furniture though is Tapco, which is interesting. I didn't know that they made lever action rifle furniture. As far as the quality goes and the fit and finish of the furniture, I do really like it. It was an absolute pain in the ass to get it on, which was a little nerve-wracking when, you know, brand new gun, and then I'm putting all this stuff on it, and it just wasn't going the first time. I over-tightened some of the screws on the handguard, and it was binding the magazine tube, and I couldn't fit rounds in, and it wouldn't feed correctly. But that was all my fault. So as far as the add-ons go, pretty happy with it. As far as feature set from the factory, this rifle does come with a threaded muzzle. It is threaded 5/8 by 24, which isn't a 45 caliber thread pitch, but is the industry standard for 30 caliber rifles, which for me was sweet because I already had the 30 cal direct thread mount, the 5/8 by 24 direct thread mount for my 46M. So that worked out nicely. Obviously, it doesn't come with a muzzle brake or anything. It just has a thread protector on there. The sights are fiber optic, the front being green and the rear being orange. It does come with replacement fibers for those. I think I might have dropped this gun, or it like fell over at some point, because the very front of my front posts is flattened instead of rounded. I don't know if it was like that before, but the back is rounded and the front is not. So it doesn't come with a pick rail, so, you know, do with that what you will. It is tapped. The receiver is tapped so that you can put a pick rail on there, though. It does come with the magazine tube loading and the side gate. I believe that's a new thing for Henry with the Model X style guns. Don't quote me on that. I'm not a huge lever gun guy, which is why the first one of mine you're seeing is this tactical thing. But I believe that the side gates aren't as much of a thing on Henry's, but it's cool to have that on here because I prefer that, especially with the suppressor. You can't take the tube out and load it. You'd have to take the suppressor all the way off as well. One more quick thing. The furniture did come with this side saddle. That wasn't anything I had to pay extra for, which is pretty sweet. I do have it on the left side of the gun because I am left-handed, so I'm not racking my face on it when I go to shoot. One thing I will say real quick about this furniture is it is all metal, and it is not only heavy, but in cold weather, it is cold. My hands, I should have gloves on. I'm keeping them off so I can touch the button on the camera, but yeah, it is getting cold. Trying something new this time around, fellas. That's right, I actually brought reactive targets. And what do I mean by reactive targets? I mean, I brought 2-gallon jugs of water. So we're gonna test some subsonic and some supersonic rounds on those jugs. Let's get right into it. All right, gentlemen, fighting out of the blue corner, we have Hornady Sub X 410 grain, traveling at 1,075 feet per second. And fighting out of the red corner, we have Remington Core Locked 405 grain, traveling at 1,600 feet per second. Who will win? Probably the supersonic. All right, fellas, the slow-mo is recording. We are starting with the subsonic. Hopefully it doesn't fuck up my GoPro. It's real close. Is that a little disappointing, maybe? Quiet. And now for the supersonic. Quite a bit more effect on target there. Holy shit. All right, gentlemen. First off, we have the subsonic. Got some nice, hit it right here. Got some nice tearing, you know, nothing crazy. And then second off, we have the supersonic, which had a lot more violent of an impact on the water, as you might expect. I do want to talk about the fit and finish from the factory real quick. I will say everything looked and appeared good, but I shot it like 5 times, like literally pulled the trigger 5 times, and the front sight post was loose. The rear sight, dovetail sight, also loose, and the bolt or screw for the lever itself, I also saw backing out. So not a huge deal, obviously not something you want from the factory, but if you do buy one of these guns, just double check everything's tight, maybe Loctite some stuff, and you're golden. Well, fellas, if you could not tell, I am in a different spot, and that is because somebody decided to roll up on my spot, and when I told them I was using it and that I wasn't done, they decided to start shooting anyway. So I shoot at public lands, so can't really hog a spot, but obviously I'm in the spot, I'm shooting in the spot, I'm filming in the spot. This spot was open, and this spot is before the spot that I was just at. I purposefully went to the further spot as to not take up the earlier spots. So kind of needless to say, but I am unhappy about that. Anyway, let's get back to the video. I don't even remember what I was talking about, fellas, but anyway, as far as the gun goes, the action is quite smooth. I have noticed some wear on the bolt almost immediately. I don't know if you guys can see that, but that was right away that I started seeing that. I mean, to be fair, I did sit on the couch doing this over and over again, but I feel like maybe the finish should have worn up or stood up for a little bit longer. As far as the trigger goes, nice trigger. Obviously not going to do a reset on it because it's a lever gun, but the trigger's nice. It's pretty light for what this is. There is no manual safety. So if you don't want the gun to shoot when you don't want it to, leave the hammer down or don't chamber it. It's like appendix carrying a striker fired pistol with no manual safety. Same, except one shoots 410 grain bullets. Let's talk about shooting experience and accuracy. The shooting experience, shooting this thing is a hoot. With those supers that I was shooting, it does kind of kick like a mule. You got to be ready for it. The suppressor does help with that. It's not quite as bad with the can on there, but shooting those 405 grain bullets, it kicks quite a bit. So if you're of smaller stature, just be ready for that. Maybe put a brake on the end of it instead of a can or whatever, Shooting the subs though, the subsonics don't recoil at all. It feels like shooting a 22 lever gun. They're a whole lot of fun. That's my favorite way to shoot this gun, is with the can on it, with the subs in there, and it's just a whole lot of fun. And as far as accuracy goes, I, as you can tell, just have a red dot on this. So I haven't put a magnified optic on there. I don't know if I really plan to. I would love to shoot like a bear with this. So maybe I'll put an LPVO or something on there. But as far as accuracy, 100 yards and in, haven't had a problem at all. Put the dot where I want it to go, and that's where it hits. So pretty good. I haven't done any like specific grouping, partially because a lot of the ammo that I've shot through this, it's kind of hard to find 45-70 ammo. So like I'm shooting 410 grain, 405 grain, 300 grain, like it's all over the place. So haven't done too much grouping, and ammo is expensive for it. So I haven't put thousands of rounds through this gun. I can't really attest to the longevity or reliability of it. That being said, Henry is a pretty reputable brand, and I've kind of put my trust in that a little bit, I suppose. But let's talk about the vibes of this gun. Ooh, somebody hit a rock. I don't know if that got caught on mic, but I heard a pretty crazy ricochet just now. Let's talk about the vibes of this gun. Lever guns, incredibly vibey. Space tactical lever guns, depending on who you ask, maybe more so, maybe less so. This doesn't rank the highest on my vibe meter, but it's still pretty sweet. I like the streamlined lines. It's a bit of a musket. This does have an 18-inch barrel, which I've forgotten to mention in the beginning of the video, but an 18-inch barrel with an 8-inch suppressor on the end of it. It's quite long, and the stock does not collapse, but I like it. I like it. I feel like I'm riding out into the Westworld West with it sometimes, so vibe's pretty good, pretty good. Let's talk about the why of this rifle. Start off with why you buying a lever gun in the first place. You know, you can shoot pretty fast with a lever gun, and you can get them in pretty much every state. So there's one big reason. Fortunately, I live in a free state, and I'm able to obtain what everyone should be able to obtain. That being said, I can see the appeal for people who don't want a bastardized AR-15 and they just buy a cool lever gun instead. Now, why 4570? Well, it's an awesome cartridge. It's a giant, big fuck-off bullet, and it's just rad. Like, it'll work on all the big game in North America, for sure. It'll work on the home intruder as well. I did say earlier, I plan on trying to shoot a bear with this at some point, which would be sick, so stay tuned for that. Spring bear season coming up. And then, why make it a tactical lever gun? Well, for the most part, this gun is a range toy for me. I'm not using it for self-defense. I don't have a ranch, so I'm not using it as a ranch gun. You know, I did say I'm gonna take it out hunting, but that's just for fun. And so there really isn't too specific of a use case for this for me, other than it's cool and it's dumb and I like guns and I've got a bunch of different guns, so making some weird stuff occasionally is part of that. So that's kind of my reasoning behind it. It does, a real reason, I guess, if you were in a place where this is one of very few options for a utility type rifle, it really does add some usability to this. I've got my light on here with the pressure pad. I've got my grip. I've got a suppressor on there, a red dot, shell saddle on the side, and sling. You can add a lot more capability, so to speak, than you might be able to with just a wood and steel lever gun. So, closing thoughts on the Henry Model X in 4570 Government. Do I think this gun is worth the 800 to 900-ish bones that you find it for? Yeah, I do. It's a Henry. It's got the name behind it, the warranty behind it. I have had no problems with it that weren't self-induced, a user error, so to speak. And I think it's rad. I'm really happy that I have a lever gun, that I have a 4570 lever gun at that. And, you know, I honestly, I got exactly what I expected out of it, and I couldn't be happier with it. So if you're looking to get a gun like this, the only thing that I wish was different about this gun was the barrel. I wish it was 16 inches instead of 18 inches, just because I'm gonna almost always just shoot this suppressed. So having a little bit shorter barrel to keep it from being this giant musket would be appreciated. But other than that, completely happy with it. So comment down below your thoughts on lever guns in general, and more specifically, tactical lever guns. I know for a lot of people this is heresy, and I should be tarred and feathered for something like this. I don't necessarily disagree with you, but I think it's cool. I think they're rad. Shout out to Dustin for that sick barricade that you saw in the intro. He made that for me with wood from some city park benches. So thanks. Thank you guys for watching the first video in the new year. I know it's been a long time since I made a video, like 3 months almost, but I got real busy there towards the holidays and stuff and just really did not have time for it. So I appreciate you guys tuning in, welcoming me back, so to speak. I did kind of want to make a year in review type video of my like 4th year making gun videos on YouTube, but I kind of thought or felt like people wouldn't really care all that much, so I'll give you some quick highlights this year. Last year in 2025 I hit 1,000 subs, which was for me a big goal, and I was really excited to hit it. I hit my first 100,000 views in 2025 and subsequently hit my second 100,000 views in 2025 as well. So pretty exciting, a little bit of exponential growth there. It's been a lot of fun, and I feel blessed every day that I get to come out here to this beautiful spot and shoot some cool guns. So thank you guys for making that happen. Fellas, Duality of Man shirt now available. Link in bio. Just kidding. I made the shirt for myself and a few very close friends of the channel. But, you know, in the future, if you guys are interested in some real shit tier bad merch, let me know. I don't think that I have a big enough following at all for anything like that. Definitely don't have the means to make something like that, but it was kind of fun to just take a meme, a recurring meme on the channel that you even saw in today's video, and turn it into a shirt. Makes me feel like a real YouTuber, even though only 3 of them exist. So if you made it this far, which I guarantee you didn't, thank you for watching. Thank you for watching this video and all my other ones, and I'll see you in the next one.